So today, let's talk about the blues scale. It's very similar to the pentatonic scale, but we just have to add a note, and it actually repeats a couple times within the scale. So I'm gonna bring it down, and let's take a look. So first off, we'll look at our A minor pentatonic scale. It's this one. Now that's okay, but we have just some limited stuff we could do, you know. You can do some cool stuff, but you can kind of give it a little bit more flair if we take a look at when we add in the blues note. So again, blues scale is very similar to our minor pentatonic scale. So what we're going to do is we start out just like our minor pentatonic. Then we have these two notes. We're going to add in this middle one. You're going to go. It's the lower portion. Let's go up and down that a few times. And then what you can do here is, because you can use it like that. Now you can use it by picking each note, or we can do hammer-ons and pull-offs with it. But before we do that, I want to mention one thing: is when you're playing this, don't hang on that note. You know, there are maybe some times when you really want that really dissonant, sound that may fit, but a lot of times it's going to sound really bad. You know, if you're in the middle of a song, it might not sound so good. But again, if you know what you're doing, you can play around and it can fit, but you got to be careful. You can use it like emphasize and then move to a different note. You can use that to cause tension, but don't end the phrase on that and hang on it. It's just going to sound bad. So another thing you can do, give you a little bit, you're soloing a little bit of flair, is you can play this blues scale, but when you come here, you're just gonna hit it once, and then hammer on the rest of them, just one time. So you're gonna go, and then you hit to there. Then you do it quick. It's kind of like a little mini run. So you can do pull-offs too. This one I do. I go pull-offs, and then I go and hit this one more pull-off here between these two. I do a few of them, I think. So yeah, this one I go. And I go to this note. Back to there. So you can kind of do all kinds of cool things. But one of the easiest things is just the first one I showed you. So if you're kind of going through this and doing some basic, pentatonic stuff. So you can have like a little mini run. It sounds pretty cool. So that's one thing you can do. Now, what I'm going to do before I show you I'll show you the second half first. So we got second half. You got probably want to include these notes, or at least the root. So we have. I'm going to start right here. Now right here, in order to go up to here, we're going to use that note right there. That's the blues note in that location. So maybe do the lower one. Then starting this, the D string. And again, you can make something sound interesting. So yeah, I have that little it's a triplet. Instead of just, you know, that's okay. Spice it up a little bit to make it sound a little bit more interesting. So when you're improvising, try to just mess around in those two areas, you know. You know, and then the same here. Do the upper one for a little bit. You know, and just experiment with it. Maybe, you know, I've been playing for a bit, so yeah, I can throw in some stuff, but you may have to work out some stuff. And what do I want to do here? Okay, I'm gonna play, and then I'm gonna do maybe a pull-off thing. You just do that. Then maybe you might want to say, okay, I did this. Maybe I'll go, and then come back and do another pull-off. Yeah, and kind of make up some of your own little licks from it. And then before we wrap up here, I want to show you one more thing that I like to do. So we have this. Oh, before you do that, make sure you go through the whole thing. Just to get that, you know, solidified in your head. You know, it's a good little practice before you really dig in. But here's one more thing you can add in there to make it spice it up even a little bit more. So you have this, our blues note in there. Now we have these two notes. Often I like to put this middle note in here, and it's purely a passing tone. This is a chromatic tone. This is not within our scale. Technically, the blues note is not within our pentatonic scale, but it's our blues scale, so that is part of our blues scale. But this is a pure chromatic note that is not in our key at all. So what I do is now I can go like this. I can do I like to do the pull hammer on thing where I'm hitting it once. Then we go to the next one, do the same thing, and then I go back to this note, and then back to my root. So yeah, you do it quick, it sounds pretty cool. So you say you're playing around. So that all of a sudden sounds a little bit more impressive than. You know, now you got, you know, so you can play around with those chromatic note in there and do all kinds of really cool stuff, you know, cool little runs. And you could even do all three of these. You have the blues one right here. Oh, I added an extra one in there, sorry. You can do all kinds of cool things in there. But generally, I kind of break it up. You know, I do, you know, kind of keep it to that, and then I'll really, if I'm going to add in this, I'm going to be going. So I'll be using it on the upper portion. So yeah, it's just a way to have some cool little runs. Usually here I go, and I stop on there. Yep. So yeah, a couple little extra little tips. So there's your blues scale, and then some added notes in there. You got the chromatic note that I added in there, and yeah, you can turn something that's can sound okay when you're going through the pentatonic, but you add in these extra notes and they add this nice flair, make it sound like you're doing this really cool run. And at first it may be a little tricky, but once you get this down well, you really you realize that it's really all not really all that hard. It sounds more impressive than really the difficult level is, and that's good because when you're improvising, you can throw in something like that. Grab a little flair. Catches people's attention and go back into making some melodies and stuff. So yeah, experiment with that. Definitely go up and down. The scale. You want to get that blues scale down really well. Maybe mess around with some of the runs I was talking about. But then make sure grab a backing track. Whatever rock, metal, country, whatever style you pick. Guitar backing tracks in the key of A minor, and that's all you gotta do. Put that on there. Start improvising and add in the blues note, add in the chromatic note. Add in the little runs I showed you. Make up some of your own. Yeah, just experiment and have fun with it. It's good to know the scales and everything, but you always want to apply that to music. That's where it really sinks in and it becomes part of your own playing style. So that's it on this one. You got any questions at all, let me know. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next one.